Hey guys, Ewan here with the Old School Labs, and this video we're gonna start with a physique update of Cutler. 2021 update of his, and you can see quite a bit of his body. You can see his arms, he's flexing his bicep, he's posing right here, and this is Flex Lewis's daughter, so he went to his gym, Dragon Slayer. Of course, he trained there as well, and there is some footage of himself training, so you can see that in a moment. But what do I think about Cutler's physique at this point? So he has been retired since 2013, so that's 8 years, and since then, as he says, he's not really tracking everything like before. Like some days he has 2 meals, some days he has 5, 6, 4. It doesn't really matter to him anymore. He is focused on business, and he still works out every day. Like he's saying that that's his favorite part of the day as well. So he's still a bodybuilder. He's not competing though. He's probably doing some TRT doses of testosterone, and he's probably just eyeballing the food. He's probably not measuring anything. He's just relaxed. He likes to train. He likes to eat healthy, and this is what he looks like. So what do I think about his physique? Well, compared to this little girl right here, of course, just kidding. For his age and for somebody who has been retired for so long, he looks amazing. Yep. Those arms are still really big, and you can see the chest as well. You saw a lot of updates before. He's still in a good shape. Like he's really lean still, and he's not small, right? I mean, those arms are really big. He has the size. He kept a lot of it, of course. He was a freak, a monster, like 300 pounds in the off season, or probably more back in the day. But now when he's retired, he's of course not that big, but he's still a big guy. If you saw him in person, I'm sure you would be impressed with his physique. So I'm not saying he can win any pro shows with his physique, of course not, but for a retired bodybuilder, he still kept a lot of size, for sure. Here is another angle from the side, so you can get an idea of the size of his arms from the side, and his chest a little bit more. This photo was taken by Rafael Brandao. I think he also trains in Dragon Slayer with Flex Lewis and the other guys. So yeah, you can get an idea. Cutler, yeah, he still looks muscular, lean, big. Yep, that's his physique. So let's take a look at the training that he's doing in his gym. I'm not sure if this is boomerang effect or he's actually doing the reps this way. You guys tell me. But yeah, you can get the idea. He looks amazing actually. He's training back, but his chest looks pumped. I don't know if he actually did chest at this workout as well, but yeah, the chest is still looking like it's holding onto a lot of size. The legs do look smaller though in this video in particular. You can see that his legs lost a lot of its size. He had huge legs once, but that's probably the first thing that goes with these pro bodybuilders. Like the first thing they lose is legs, and once they lose it, it's really hard to. I mean, of course, he cannot return it to the point where it was at the peak of his career, but to still have huge legs after being retired for 8 years, that rarely happens. So yeah, you can get an idea of his physique right now, how much muscle he's holding, what is his body fat percent. And I think based on all of this, you can say that Cutler stayed in a good shape. Alright, next we have an update of Michal Krizo. I'm hoping I didn't butcher his name. Anyways, this is another physique update of this guy, and he looks absolutely freaky. Like, this is probably the freakiest bodybuilder that we can see today, at least on social media. On stage, he also looks amazing, but like he has those muscle bellies like Kevin Levrone, or even more impressive than that. Look at the length of the biceps, for example, and the width of the chest. Look at the pop on the shoulders, the small wrists, the small joints everywhere, just insane. Look at the pop on the outer part of the quad, that outer sweep, and the small waist as well, and the aesthetic abs. Like he has a small waist, good looking abs, and the maturity of the muscle. The maturity, like the thin skin and everything. It just looks insane. It's very aesthetic for a big guy, and he's a pro. Let's say he's a pro. He says IFBB Elite Pro, which is not IFBB Pro League. So you can also say that he's an amateur. I guess that wouldn't be too much of a problem if you said that, because compared... I mean, most of these pros in Elite Pro, compared to the pros in Pro League, look like amateurs. But this guy is an exception because he is really good. I'm really curious what he would look like against the other guys. Not at the Olympia. I don't think he can do very well at the Olympia, but maybe like try to do one of the pro shows in Pro League if he can get to that level. and see what he can do. Like, can he actually win it or get to like a top 3? I'm sure he can do something like that. He's a tall guy also, so I don't know what would he look like standing next to the short guys, like standing next to Rolly Winkler or Brandon Curry, who are just like a freaking bubble. So yeah, crazy genetics, crazy muscle bellies, crazy shape, symmetry, proportions, everything just insane. Unfortunately, he's not in IBB Pro League, and I don't know if he has a plan to actually move to the Pro League, you know, to compete against the big guys, the good bodybuilders, the actual top bodybuilders in the world. I don't know if that's his plan or something. As far as I know, what I heard, he's getting really well paid for representing Elite Pro, because he's really representing it. I mean, this physique is just freaking insane. Just take a look at him in the muscle where he's training it, like how alive this muscle is, how well this physique is flowing. Look at the bicep here. Like, look at how thick that bicep is and how long. Like, it's the bicep is hitting the forearm when it's completely stretched, basically, which is absolutely freaky. So yeah, crazy genetics, crazy shape. I'm really sad that he's not doing IBB Pro League. Again, look at these bicep curls and how aesthetic this physique looks. I mean, this is bodybuilding at its most aesthetic, probably. So this is kind of like Kevin Levroni, just a little bit taller and probably more aesthetic. I don't know, let's not say more aesthetic, but he has those kind of muscle bellies. And I would personally prefer to have this kind of physique because he's taller. So yeah, very impressive. I hope he gets to Pro League one day. Keone Pearson. Every time I mention him in a video, I sound really impressed, really amazed, because I don't think anybody is really making progress like he is at this rate. This reminds me a lot of Dallas McCarver, may he rest in peace. And here you can see that this guy, I mean, he has nothing to do with classic anymore. I'm not saying that he doesn't look aesthetic or classic in a way. I'm just saying that he grew so much. I mean, look at his most muscular. What the hell this guy would do in classic physique with this kind of most muscular? It would be a waste. So thankfully, obviously, of course, he switched to bodybuilding to 212 though. I would love to see him in the open because he has a lot of mass on that frame, and I don't know how long will he actually be able to stay in 212. But then again, if he's like 220 or 225, let's say maybe up to like 230, 235, which is about William Bonek's height, weight actually, and he's also similar height as Keone. That would probably look amazing. I'm not sure what is the height difference between Bonek and Keone. I'm guessing Keone is a bit shorter. Anyways, he has a lot of muscle on his frame. I hope he's gonna get out of 212 division and actually do the open eventually. But as I mentioned before, he reminds me of this pose of Dallas McCarver. So if you take a look at Dallas here, I don't know if this was like a prep for a show or something. It probably was, but it doesn't matter. Dallas was taller. I'm not sure if I got the ratio right, but if you compare their waist and where their heads are ending, you can get the idea that it's probably at least similar ratio. But even if you don't compare it like this, photo next to a photo, if you look at Keone, he looks absolutely freaky. Like, he's really big, really thick. But then somebody like Dallas, who is taller, he will just absolutely dwarf Keone. So I don't know how well can Keone actually do in the open if he decides to do it sometime soon, because there are freaks like Dallas over there, they would just dwarf Keone. But with time, you know, if he actually gets to that kind of weight, like I said, 230, 235, something like that, that would be just a really, really good package. It would be just thick, right? It would be really big. Let's wait and see. I hope he's going to progress to that point. We'll see though. Okay, next we have this guy, Andrew Jack, or Chinedu Andrew, which is his real name. As far as I remember, I never really mentioned this guy before, because what he's known for is basically flexing in a gym with Larry Wheels. I don't think he ever competed before. I think there was talk about him competing in classic physique, but these recent photos of him, of his coach actually, these photos were posted by his coach. They're saying that he is 131 kilos, which is 290 pounds. Of course, he cannot do classic physique. No, that's gonna have to be bodybuilding. He's a taller guy. He's about a similar height as Larry Wheels, so you can get an idea. He's probably like 6'1", 6'2", something like that. And for that height, he has a good thick frame, right? I mean, he doesn't really look that tall because he's jacked, right? He has a lot of muscle. Anyways, he has a show in 4 weeks. Not sure which show it is, but it's probably an amateur show where he will win his pro card. Probably, I mean, it might happen that there is some other freak out there that we don't know about, but this guy is very well known because he's not a pro yet, and he does look a pro-looking physique. Actually, open, that can be tricky. There are some freaks in the open that are trying to get a pro card for a long time, so it might be their time. I'm not sure which show he's planning on doing, but I'm sure he can find one show where he can actually win and get the pro card, and then hopefully have a pro debut in some of the popular shows so we can actually see what he looks like standing next to the other pros. Because yeah, this physique is pro worthy. He's really big, right? And he has a great symmetry, great proportions, very, very thick, a lot of muscle. He just needs to dehydrate himself a little bit. Like, his legs don't look super separated, but that's just water retention. That's probably the last place where you lose water before the show. Many bodybuilders, like 4 weeks out, they don't really have great deep details in the legs. They don't like to show it because of that. But when you get dehydrated, when you get to that final week, peak week, that's when your legs are actually getting dry. And that's the trickiest part. Like, everything else, abs will be dry a month out for sure, like his are. But legs, that's a bit tricky. That's like that last week thing. So yeah, I'm sure he's gonna get in great shape and probably win a pro card. We'll see in 4 weeks. Since I already mentioned Larry Wheels, let me show you a powerlifting video of a guy deadlifting 477.5 kilos for 2 reps. And you guys know that the world's deadlifting record with straps, this is actually not powerlifting, this is strongman, because he's using straps and he's pulling the bar over his knees, which is not allowed in powerlifting. This is strongman kind of deadlift. He is actually doing 2 reps with his weight, but you guys know that the world record is 500 kilos by Eddie Hall at an official strongman event, and then also Hafthor Bjornsson 501 kilos in his gym, which is also official. It was accepted as a world record, but it wasn't an event, so I don't know, whatever you guys think about that. But this guy is lifting 477.5 for 2 reps. It has to be some kind of a world record. I don't think Eddie Hall or Hafthor Bjornsson did this. And for sure they wouldn't be able to do it now because they both downsized quite a bit since their prime. Anyways, this again has nothing to do with bodybuilding, but I found this very impressive, and I'm personally a fan of powerlifting and strongman as well. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. This is crazy. 477.5 kilograms for 2 solid reps. Wow, just insane. Paimen Maiheri Power is the name of this guy that is deadlifting. I'm probably butchering it, but it is what it is. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like it. If you want to see more, subscribe to this channel. All the best, guys, and keep it old school.